Unfortunately, the Mavericks get clipped at home. That sees their 4-game home winning streak snapped at the hands of the Los Angeles Clippers. We'll break it all down coming up next here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella. We are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys cover your favorite team every single game night, win or lose. Unfortunately, the Mavericks fall tonight at the American Airlines Center 118-95 as the Mavericks see their 4-game home winning streak snapped at the hands of James Harden and the Los Angeles Clippers. We'll be with you for the next hour here on DLLS Sports. Really appreciate you joining us here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. You can find me on X at Kevin Gray Sports. You can find Bobby there at Bobby Carella. Coming up here in about 15 minutes, we'll have our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, joining us live from Orlando to give us his thoughts and perspective, not only on tonight's game, but other happenings around the league, including with the G League Showcase. And also, our guy Tim Cato will join us live from the American Airlines Center a little bit later on in our show. But unfortunately, Bobby Carella, the Mavericks fall to 17-10 on the season as they lose 118-95. The Mavericks, as they see themselves lose for the 9th time in the last 12 outings against the Los Angeles Clippers in the regular season. Clippers have 5 guys in double figures, led by Norman Powell, who's right now probably leader in the clubhouse for maybe, has he already won Most Improved Player of the Year once, though?
I feel like if you've done it once, you shouldn't be able to do it again.
You shouldn't be able to do it again. Yeah. But he's been playing extremely well so far this year. He did so again tonight with 29 points. James Harden was cooking up in the fourth quarter especially. He had 24 points and 7 assists. Ivica Zubac doing absolute work for the Clippers tonight, had 21 and 15. Meanwhile, the Mavericks had 5 guys in double figures, led by Klay Thompson, who had another strong game with 22 points. But unfortunately, without Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, which was the headline for this game, Bobby, just too much to overcome for a Clippers team that was able to play really well, led by James Harden and Norman Powell tonight.
Yeah, I mean, without those two guys, you know, it's tough to even get to 100. You can't really run your offense because, you know, especially whenever you take Jaden Hardy out of it. And I don't think that Hardy necessarily is obviously the same kind of playmaker as Luka and Kyrie, but I still think that Hardy has pace, change of pace, the ability to pull up and everything, you know, kind of in similar ways at least to Luka and Kyrie, in that you can at least run a spread pick and roll and get some, like, add some dimension to your offense. But tonight it was a lot of dribble handoffs. It was a lot of using Gafford and Lively as kind of fulcrums in the high post, dribble handoffs to top the arc, and double screens for Klay. There was just a lot of stuff that was kind of like uncharacteristic, outside the norm of what the Mavs do. So their possessions were lasting much longer. They were having to work really hard to get like mediocre shots. And, you know, the end result is kind of what we expected. I mean, this to me was like the most worry-free game of the season because I knew it would be a grind, you know.
Sure.
They got off to a pretty good start, but the Clippers adjusted. They figured out what was going on. And, you know, from then it was church. But, I mean, I said before the pregame we'd learned some stuff about the team.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have some takeaways. But for the most part, that game sucked, and I'm glad it's over, and I can't wait to talk about the G League Showcase.
Yeah, for sure. And you look at this game, and we'll do that with Marc Stein coming up here in just a little bit. It's funny because the Mavericks led at the end of 130-24, and it felt like even with the shorthanded nature that the Mavericks were dealing with, you could tell that they were competing hard, especially in that first quarter. It felt like, okay, maybe there's some traction here. Klay Thompson was really aggressive throughout the course of the game, looking for his own shot. But as you mentioned, Clippers started to figure it out as the game went on. In fact, the Mavericks only scored 46 points in the second half. The Clippers used what was a big third quarter, outscoring the Mavericks 39-28 in that period to really break the game wide open. Clippers led by as many as 23 in this game. As we mentioned, Norman Powell with 29, James Harden with 24. Also, Amir Coffey had 16 points as well, going 7-10 from the field. Meanwhile, if you're the Dallas Mavericks, you saw P.J. Washington try to do some things, especially on the defensive end. He had a couple of steals tonight. He had 14 points and 9 rebounds. But
didn't do enough for me.
Yeah, he didn't do enough for Bobby when it came to sleeper, but we won't talk about that right now. We have a spot for that coming up a little bit later on, so don't worry about that. Spencer Dinwiddie on the night himself had 19 points. He wound up scoring the final 8 points of the third quarter for Dallas, but it wasn't nearly enough as the Mavericks were able to pull within 8 in the fourth quarter, but it never felt like the Clippers were threatened, especially with what they were able to do in the second half, and the Mavericks just simply could not cross that single-digit threshold to get it within 5, maybe within 4. They just simply didn't have enough shot making in the fourth quarter to do so.
Yeah, everything the Clippers did in the second half was super easy. It was a lot of open spot-up shots. It was points in transition. Whenever everything else failed, they'd just go to the free throw line or dump it down to Zubac. And, Derek Lively has had, by and large, a pretty incredible second season. He's obviously a very, very good player. We hold him in very high regard here on the DLLS Mavs podcast.
For sure.
But tonight, Zubac got the better of him. And Zubac was a huge handful for both Lively and Gafford in the playoffs. They were able to do just enough to slow him down after game 1 of that series. But tonight, he gave him the work, dude.
Yeah, he did.
It was tough in the fourth quarter. I mean, the Clippers made Lively look bad on defense a couple times, which is astonishing because Lively, even Jokic doesn't make him look bad. But whatever they were doing with Zubac, he was out of position. He got, a couple cheap fouls, and then he kind of had that frustration foul on the Norm Powell 3, and it was just kind of like, man, it's just over. And he was dropping passes like, it was a really frustrating night for him after what I thought was a pretty good start. But yeah, I mean, the Clippers didn't have to work too hard for anything. The Mavs had to work really hard for everything. And over the course of a 48-minute game, it's really, really hard to win whenever you're just chasing points the whole game, basically.
Yeah, and you look at that fourth quarter, Mavs were down 98-90 with 8:20 left, but the Clippers went on what was a 9-2 run to increase their lead back up to 15 at 107-92. Norman Powell knocking down a three-pointer, and it felt like it was pretty much over from there. The Mavericks officially waved the white flag with 3 minutes left as the Clippers were leading 112-95. And unfortunately, and you were talking about how Zubac was able to dominate in the paint, you see the numbers from tonight's game, but when you watch the game, Zubac, more of a traditional center, can get on the block, can use his physicality, was obviously able to do well on the glass. But at times, it just felt like he was just overpowering Derek Lively in the block and using that to his advantage. And for him, it made for a very frustrating night, really for both of the centers when it came to Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, which I thought maybe coming into this game with the double centers that you had, maybe you could use some of that size and physicality against them. Unfortunately, Zubac was just a one-man wrecking crew when it came, especially in the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter, to really put the Clippers on his back offensively.
And one advantage that Mavs bigs have over guys like Zubac and Jokic and Gobert and some of those other, kind of, I guess, more traditional size and speed and agility centers is that Lively and Gafford are faster than those guys. So in the open floor, they can get down the floor faster than Zubac. They can make Zubac work. Throughout that Mavs playoff series last year, off a miss, they're beating him down the floor and they're making him chug up and down. You're out of position, and then he's the one that's committing the fouls. But tonight the Clippers are able to score a lot. The Mavs, even when they forced some turnovers, their transition offense was pretty brutal. It was hard on the eyes. There were a couple unfortunate lob pass decisions and things like that. And again, that's to be expected. Your two best playmakers are out, and I don't know where Hardy ranks in that mix, but probably one of your top 4 or 5 playmakers was out, and Najee was clearly a little rusty. He has turned it over a lot, just dribbling the ball the last couple times he's played, and that's a little, frustrating. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is.
I will say I love Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson has been really good, especially as of late. But my guy, let me give you a piece of advice.
Oh, that's tough.
When you see Obax on the break, my guy, we don't have to try to throw the alley-oop to Omax. Like Kevin Porter Jr. is like, oh, you're throwing this pass to me, actually? Because that's what it looked like, because he was right there to get the pass. And it's like, Klay, we don't have to do the alley-oop attempts to Omax. I know that's your guy, Bobby. I know. But
yeah, Klay had a great game, though.
He did.
I really thought he
was aggressive looking for a shot, I thought, tonight.
Yeah. I mean, and without Luka and Kyrie and without kind of the Mavs doing spacing the floor the way they normally would, there was a lot more opportunities for him to run off screens, move, catch on the move. He attacked. He made some plays. A lot of dribble handoffs to run for him and stuff. So it was cool to see that element of the offense. But you can't do that with a guy like at Clay's age, 34, 35, he cannot do that for 36 minutes. Like there has to be some other gear, some other dimension, and there just wasn't.
Klay Thompson played 29 minutes tonight. PJ Washington played
only -2.
Yeah, in those 29 minutes that he played, part of that was going 9 of 17 overall from the field for the 22 points that he had. PJ Washington played nearly 35 minutes in this game. Spencer Dinwiddie played 37 minutes for Dallas tonight with the 19 points that he had. Obviously, it was a homecoming of sorts, if you will, for Derrick Jones Jr., who, of course, was with the Mavericks last year, helped them get to the NBA Finals. There was a nice tribute for him during the game as well. He had 8 points in this game, going just 3 or 4 from the field, but was effective. He was a plus 14 for the Los Angeles Clippers, also having an assist and a rebound and a steal and a block shot, kind of just doing a little bit of everything, being kind of a nuisance, if you will, when it comes to Derrick Jones Jr., which we know he's capable of doing as a really good defender and a guy that can knock down shots as well. He went 2 of 2 from the three-point line and made his presence felt, not necessarily in an impactful way in terms of the scoring, but enough that you noticed that he was out there on the floor making some plays for Los Angeles tonight.
I thought he was fine. You know, the Clippers did a good job, I thought, in the fourth quarter of, you know, when it wasn't just dump it to Zubac in the post. It was Harden bring the ball up the floor. You know, and the Mavs had lineups on the floor where it was like, let's say, Grimes, PJ, Najee, Big, and Dinwiddie. So Dinwiddie is really like the only guy, I guess, you know, I feel comfortable with Gafford Lively, not Gafford, with Lively switching on to Harden. I don't really feel comfortable with Dinwiddie switching on to Harden. They were putting Dinwiddie on Jones, and Jones was screening for Harden, and Dinwiddie was switching on to Harden, and Harden was cooking Dinwiddie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the fourth quarter, Dinwiddie's 30, however old he is, 33, 34 years old or whatever. That is a really tough matchup for him defensively.
Sure.
And the Clippers were pretty relentlessly targeting him the way that we see teams target Luka and Kyrie down the stretch. You know, and then they would start doubling Harden, and then it would be someone who was open for three. And big man would step high on Zubac, and Zubac would duck down underneath. I mean, they had a lot of counters. You know, they're a really well-coached team. Ty Lue is awesome. So, I mean, doubt the Clippers at your own risk.
Especially when it comes to Norman Powell, who continues to play terrific basketball for the Los Angeles Clippers. Mavericks were down 50-49 at halftime. At halftime, it felt like the Mavericks, even with being down, had played pretty decently in the first half. PJ Washington had 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals. Klay Thompson also had 10 points in that first half. Norman Powell had 12. James Harden had 15. But the shooting left a lot to be desired, especially for the Mavericks from the three-point line. When you look at what they did from distance tonight, Mavericks were just 7 of 30 from downtown. And we've known over the last 14 games, this has been one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league with no Luka, no Kyrie. Not only were the shots more difficult to get, but a lot of contested shots as well from the three-point line. Clippers went 14 of 33 from downtown. As I mentioned, Mavericks went 7 of 30 for a 23% clip. You're not going to win a lot of games.
No, you're not, Kevin.
when you're shooting 23% from three and also under 40% from the field overall, as the Mavericks went 39.5% from the field. Clippers shot nearly 52% from the field overall, going 42% from the three-point line. It's a make-or-miss league. Clippers made shots. Mavericks didn't make shots tonight.
Yeah, process too. But again, no Luka, no Kyrie. Like I don't know, you know, if the Mavs tried to have the same process tonight as they did in games when Luka and Kyrie played, they would have scored 42 points.
Agreed.
Like you know, and then that also, it's not just that you're missing Luka and Kyrie. It's that the guys that are replacing Luka and Kyrie in the lineup are now no longer coming off the bench, which goes back to the thing. Depth is only depth and depth is depth. And tonight, you know, the Mavs' bench combined to score as many points as Amir Coffey did off the Clippers bench. And, you know, the Mavs starting lineup tonight scored 79 points. That's not too bad. I mean, the Clippers starting lineup only scored 85, so you were almost able to play them to a draw. But your 2 best subs are starting.
Yeah.
So, you know, unless Jay-Z and Gortman and Maxey and Omax are just going to absolutely pop off, it's going to be really hard for you to get much scoring anywhere else. So, you know, the trickle down effect is real.
Yeah, and you didn't unfortunately get much from your bench tonight, while the Clippers were able to get plenty from their depth in their bench tonight, especially as Bobby mentioned with Amir Coffey.
It's not all for naught, though. I just want to say the vibes are horrendous. This is a great team. Derek Harper told me that Luka and Kyrie are going to be back on Saturday. He said so himself on the broadcast.
He did say that on the broadcast.
So by God, Harp, I hope you're right, because I cannot do this again. I refuse to do this again. But We got more than 100 people watching. I'm
Thank you.
sure more are on the way. We're 8 subs away from 12K on the channel. Humor us. Sub to the channel. Let us hit 12K during this post-game show. Repair the vibes. We are in dire need of your help.
Make sure you tell a friend to come on in here, hang out with us during the post-game show, and subscribe to DLLS Sports while you're here, as we're just 8 subscriptions away from reaching the 12,000 mark. I feel like we've done this before, whether it was 10K or 11K. I feel like it's now our turn to get to 12K as well. So help us out and subscribe to
We're addicted to progress.
We are here at DLLS Sports. Unfortunately, the Mavericks were not addicted to the progress tonight when it came to shooting threes because they didn't do a lot of that.
Where are you watching from?
Oh, that's right. Speaking of where you're watching from, we're going to go to Orlando next because we're going to be joined by our guy, Marc Stein, our national NBA insider, who was in Orlando for the G League Showcase. He'll provide us his thoughts on tonight's game, what's going on in Orlando, and maybe even talk about an announcement, maybe, Bobby, when it comes to Luka Doncic. All that and more coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. We realize it's game time here, unlike the Mavericks tonight at the American Airlines Center. But if you need to go to a basketball game, football game, whatever your favorite sporting event or concert is, you got to use Game Time to get your tickets. I use Game Time to get my tickets to WrestleMania in April at Allegiant Stadium, April 19th and 20th, to see John Cena, Roman Reigns, and all the superstars of the WWE. And I was able to do it with Game Time. They have all-in prices, so I knew exactly what I was going to pay before I checked out. They even had panoramic seat views, so I knew exactly where I was going to sit before I purchased my ticket as well. So if you're looking to give your loved one or your friend or significant other a last-minute holiday gift, you can give them the gift of going to their favorite sporting event or concert by using Game Time to get their tickets. You can be able to take the guesswork out of buying your tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Remember, terms apply. Create an account and redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Bobby, what time is it? Game time. Who?
Just tell Luka and Kyrie that next time. Hey, Empire Today will get you shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Shopping for floors at a big box store can be frustrating. You might talk to someone today who was working in plumbing yesterday. You don't know who to trust. You don't know who has the answers. But at Empire Today, flooring is all they do. They live and breathe flooring, so you can be confident that you're getting honest, upfront advice whenever you contact them. They pride themselves on their convenient shop-at-home service. They help customers shop for floors where they use their floors. You can shop for floors in your jammy and use their virtual floor designer to snap a picture of your floor. Boom. You're in your sweatpants, and now you know what your new floor could look like in your lighting, in your decor, in your living room, in your pajamas. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DLLS. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/DLLS for details.
Appreciate you joining us here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Unfortunately, the Mavericks fall to the Los Angeles Clippers 118-95 as the Mavericks begin a 4-game homestand. They'll take on the Clippers again on Saturday before they welcome in the Portland Trail Blazers. Then the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are getting the absolute breaks beat off them tonight by Karl-Anthony Towns and the New York Knicks. Let's go out to Orlando and be joined by our national NBA insider. You can always find him on X at the Steinline. He is, of course, Marc Stein. Marc, what's going on?
Gents, how are you? I'm trying to get my shot a little better centered here.
Well, you look and sound good, so.
If I'm making it better or worse, maybe I better not. No, I think I made it worse, so I'm not going to do anything else.
Just do less.
The couch looks good, though. I do like that couch. It looks comfortable while you're there in Orlando. Unfortunately, it wasn't comfortable at the American Airlines Center tonight as the Mavericks fall to the Los Angeles Clippers for the 9th time in the last 12 regular season matchups against this team. Your thoughts on, obviously, the headline with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving missing tonight's game. Luka missing his 7th game of the season. Kyrie Irving missing his 3rd game of the season. And it showed on the floor, unfortunately, for Dallas tonight.
Well, in extreme candor, I saw very, very little of it. I don't really think we can be surprised that no Luka, no Kyrie, nobody's going to say no problem. That is going to be a problem. This team's done really well with injuries and players missing, but man, why? Hold on a second, gents. What is going on here? What is with this camera? There we go.
We're all just doing our best.
That's a little better.
There we go.
I thought I had it. God,
This is more entertaining than what happened tonight, honestly.
maybe Tanner needs to travel with me. That would help. Look.
Tanner's like he's ready to go. He's ready.
Yeah, I'm sure he's sick of you guys. Look, here's the thing. I mean, we've talked so much about the only 4 home games in 40 days, and look, the Clippers. No, they don't have Paul George anymore, and we still haven't seen Kawhi Leonard, but they are just an outstanding defensive team. They've got firepower, and I'm putting zero stock or dwelling on this with 0% of my energy at this point. You're not going to take a lot from a game where no Luka and no Kyrie. I mean, the most interesting thing I can probably share is, as you guys mentioned, I'm at the G League Showcase in Orlando. The Mavs have a huge contingent here. Basically, their whole front office is here. And I ran into them as they were leaving the games because obviously they wanted to basically have watch the game together as a staff. So I'm sure they found a local establishment to go have something to eat and watch this game.
That's tough.
I would not imagine that it was a very pleasant experience for them. Again, because I'm committed to full candor and always telling you guys the truth, I sneaked away from the showcase shortly after they did, but it was to watch the Green Hill St. Mark's soccer game, which for me was absolute agony to miss in person. But in 2024, you can thankfully find a stream somewhere for just about any game in the world, and that includes getting to watch what was for the Stein family a must-see soccer game. So I was focused when I wasn't, I'm here to really meet as many executives as I can, talk to as many people around the league as I can. But when I had my chance to sneak away tonight, it was not to watch the Mavs, sans Luka and Kyrie. It was to see a little high school soccer. So I am being as transparent as I can with my guys because you deserve that.
Well, all you missed was the Mavericks making 7 3-pointers out of the 33 that they took. Ivica Zubac dominating in the fourth quarter for the Los Angeles Clippers, and Norman Powell continuing to have a career year with the 29 points that he had. So you didn't miss too much tonight as the Mavericks fall to the Clippers.
Can I rant about something nonetheless?
Does it have to do with baseball?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. So, look,
we love baseball, though. We do love baseball.
Really do not like the 2 games in a row against the same opponent. And it's called a baseball series because it's year 4 of this thing. We still don't have a better name for it. I mean, I tweeted about it tonight when I tweeted that both Luka and Kyrie would be out. And I got a series of responses. They're really playing baseball, Stein? Like, it's year 4 of this. Tonight was the first time you've heard me use the term baseball series. I mean, a lot of us call these 2-game sets a baseball series because, again, we haven't come up with a better name for it. But if you really study winning percentages for home teams, they've been on a steady decline in recent years. And last season, the cumulative winning percentage for home teams in the NBA already was dipping below 55%. And these baseball series, we know why they were instituted. The league wants to try to reduce some travel, and it's obviously
do they? Because great. I just saw hell for a month and a half.
Yeah, I mean, it's the advantage is with the road team, especially like I heard you guys mention when the Mavs have to do this. I think they have a baseball series in Clipperland, but that's a back-to-back.
That's right.
So in this case, the Clippers come to town. They got here yesterday, so it's travel day, game, full off day, game. You really are negating home team advantage. And last year in year 3, we really saw it. Last year, home teams were only 38 and 42 in all baseball series games, sub 500. Now, the league has reduced the number of these, each year they're not really going crazy with it because, again, home court advantage is already dwindling in the NBA, and I just don't like it. It's hard enough to take advantage of your home court and win your home games. And now the Clippers, obviously they were helped tonight by the injury situation, but now, they get a night of no travel tonight. They get a full day off here tomorrow to either rest or practice. By Saturday, they're going to be insanely comfortable in the Mavs gym. And I've never liked these. I think it's a huge disadvantage for the home team. And look, I get why the league's doing it because, after the NBA Cup, I mean, this is why there are still so many back-to-back games in the schedule. You saw the havoc that the NBA Cup wreaked on the rest of the schedule. We just emerged from a 10-day stretch. 6 days out of 10, there were 2 games or fewer on the NBA schedule total. 2 of those 6 days, there were 0 games. And so that creates a backlog that the league has to try to deal with. And, you guys tell me what you think, where you stand on these things, but it had nothing to do with tonight. I have been a staunch critic of these 2 game sets for a long, long, long time.
I mean, for me, the initial implementation of these baseball series I thought was a good idea to reduce some of the wear and tear that comes with the travel. As you mentioned, one of the main reasons why they instituted this. But honestly, for me, Bobby, there's one solution to a lot of the scheduling issues in my mind, at least, and they won't do it. It's going to be a conversation that needs to happen, but it won't happen. They need to shorten the season. I mean, they play 82 games, and the amount of back-to-backs, the amount of home back-to-backs, the amount of travel that's incorporated is too much. Like, if the season was reduced to 70, 72 games, and we start this at the beginning of December, and we play December through mid-June, if you want to keep it through June because of the NBA final schedule, okay, fine. But the only way, at least in my mind, that some of this will begin to be resolved is to reduce the season schedule. Again, it won't happen. But to me, that is the biggest solution to me that could help some of this out is reduce the number of games.
I think a disadvantage of playing both of your home games or even both of your road games against one team, like for the whole season in the same 3-day span is, every team plays the same teams the same number of times, but the thing that changes is when you play them. And so let's say that Luka and Kyrie still can't play on Saturday. Well, the Mavs' 2 home games against the Clippers this season came without Luka and Kyrie.
Yep.
Awesome. So I think that also maybe has something to do with it too. That the when you play them matters a lot. If your best guy is out, then you're screwed. And instead of catching them again in another month, you won't play them again at all.
Yeah, look, I think it's hard for this. I mean, there are always going to be injuries. It's hard for a schedule maker to legislate for that. But, Kevin brought up something interesting because I know Charles Barkley this week went on the Dan Patrick show advocating that the NBA needs to push the start of the season to Christmas and let the season go into July. And then Mavs radio play-by-play voice Chuck Cooperstein had a great counter to that. In the 2021 season, after the pandemic season, that's basically what we ended up with. And when the finals strayed in July, it did not do well on TV at all, even though it was, the Milwaukee Phoenix finals was a good series. But it just, July, people aren't home. People are on vacation. People are traveling. Families are doing stuff. Like, I think the NBA is not going to want their season to ever stray beyond mid-June. But Kev, you're totally right because home teams are not going to let no team wants to see a reduction in home dates. We're not going to see the schedule reduced from 82 games. It's the same reason why my NBA Cup idea gets no traction because teams don't want to give away home dates in that circumstance either. They don't want to take the NBA Cup to Vegas, the whole thing for 7 to 10 days because then they might lose out on multiple home dates and no team wants to lose out on its home revenue. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see going forward what changes there are to the NBA Cup. Can they do better with the schedule? I mean, there are a lot of teams unhappy with the schedule, but, your favorite guy's favorite team has a lot to be dismayed about after that 4 home games in 40 days stretch, which is just still. I was talking about it with some people today. I saw Mavs people in Orlando. I said, I have to come to Orlando to see you because there are no home games.
Well, the Mavs also had to give up a home game just because of that tournament. So I guess everything is great. It all worked out for the Thunder. I guess good for them. The Warriors got a home game. They finished with a worse point differential than the Mavs. But that's sick. I mean, I think we're doing great. This is awesome. Yeah, everything is fine.
Bobby, before I came on, I heard Bobby making a plea for a vibes change. But I have to say, the Corella Strader's tone in this segment has done little to change the vibes. I have to say.
No, Stein, we're 5 subs away from 12K.
We're almost to 12,000.
I am laughing through the pain.
So before we go any further, give me what's going on in the chat room. I miss my friends in chat. What are they saying? What's going on? What's on their mind? Let me know.
The vibe is that not everybody, but a lot of people don't actually think that Luka and Kyrie are hurt. A lot of people think that this was a load management thing. I'm just telling you the vibe in chat. You asked, I answered. I'm a truth sayer, Mark.
I mean, they played 2 games in the last 10 days, and fans are like, what the hell is going on? Why are both of them, not just one, why are both of them not available to play? Now, look,
it is mystifying.
Yeah, it is.
There's no funny business. It sucks.
They just in 10 days, why would they need load management? I'm pretty sure they wanted to play in this game.
Agree. I would agree with that sentiment.
Let's go out on a limb and say neither one of them wanted to miss this game against a very good Clipper team.
I didn't want them to miss this game, and I'm really bummed that they did.
And I definitely didn't want them to miss it either because Luka been cooking the Clippers throughout the course of his career.
And there's 20,000 people that went to the arena tonight that didn't get to see either of those guys, and that sucks. That sucks really, really bad. And I see
Zubac has not stopped his Mavs.
Oh boy.
We got to do something about that guy.
Yeah, because that guy right there, every time he sees, it's like when P.J. Washington sees the Oklahoma City Thunder, it's the exact same thing when Ivica Zubac sees the Dallas Mavericks. He just goes into, Kareem mode and just decides to dominate the Mavericks centers.
LC Widow says that we're lying. So I guess we're wrong, Mark.
Before we let you go, we really appreciate your time as always. Looking forward to seeing the rest of your coverage at the G League Showcase. A busy time for you, obviously, collecting information, and make sure you find a time to get some sleep while you're out there. You're in Orlando. Go sit by a palm tree or something, and relax a little bit while you're out there. Okay.
I will try. I miss you guys. We'll do this again Saturday after the second half of this 2-game set, and I will see what kind of scuttlebutt I can dig up for us.
Is this the part where I tell him I won't see him until next week?
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
For me and you.
You already told me. I mean, look, you guys know I'm old. I forget stuff. So you literally told me, and I already forgot. So my bad.
It's all right, Mark. I'll see you when I see you, all right? Appreciate you, man.
All right,
bye,
guys.
Mark.
Be good.
That's our National NBA Insider, Marc Stein, joining us here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. Coming up next here, we will be joined by our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato, live from the American Airlines Center. He'll provide us his thoughts and information from the post-game press conference as well after the Mavericks fall to the Clippers 118-95. All that coming up next here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show. Well, much like the Mavs offense tonight, there was a lot of sleeping going on. But you didn't go to sleep because you downloaded Sleeper because you know that they have the best fantasy football league platform out there. And you can put your ball knowledge to the test by picking whether your favorite or least favorite players have more than less than their projected stats each week. Cowboys taking on the Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football. Baker Mayfield finna cook the Cowboys secondary. I'm taking to have him to at least have 250 passing yards in that game. Mike Evans at least 0.5 touchdowns as well. With Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. It also keeps you in the loop with instant alerts for breaking news and major injuries so you can stay ahead of the game and be ready to outsmart your friends. So if you think you have what it takes, new users can download the Sleeper app and use code DLLSMavs to get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. Apply it to any contest, and it doesn't have to be your first one either. Remember, terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms are used for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. So make sure you check out Sleeper today.
Get fitted out in the best sports gear around. I don't mean the second best. I mean the best sports gear around from our friends at FOCO. They got hoodies, they got shoes, they got signs, they got bobbleheads and everything in between. Tim Cato once found, I think, a collection of gnomes on their website.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice.
They got overalls on their website. And hey, if you're going to a Mavs game, if you're going to a Stars game, you can show off your love with team-branded friendship bracelets in Mavs colors, in Victor E. Green or Victor E. Green in Stars colors, whether it's jackets, beachwear, overalls, gnomes. There's something for fans for almost every occasion, including some of our set decorations here at DLLS. FOCO's donated a few awesome pieces for our set, so go show them some love. Check out FOCO.com or click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use the promo code DLLS10 for 10% off.
Appreciate you joining us here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports while you're here, and do so with our podcast wherever you get your podcasts for free. Give it a 5-star rating and write a review for it while you're there. How many subscribers are we away from 12,000?
5.
We need 5 of you. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button.
We're not stopping until we get there.
So get us to 12,000.
I will keep cracking load management, ridiculous conspiracy theory jokes until you do it. So do it.
Subscribe to DLLS Sports. And while you're doing that, you can watch as we welcome in our Mavericks beat writer. You can find him on X at Tim_Cato. He is Tim Cato. Tim, what's going on?
I wish I had been load managed for this game.
Well, Tim, that's why we pay you the big bucks, brother.
Yes, it is.
Fortunately, a disappointing night for the Mavericks. No Luka, no Kyrie. Major problems as the Mavericks fall 118-95. It just felt like, Tim, just a lot of slog when it came to the Mavericks offense. A lot of activity, but not a lot of productivity, if you will. And the Mavericks lose to a Norman Powell, who in Clippers team that's been playing well or tonight, I should say, playing well.
Yeah, slog feels right. I don't think it was for lack of effort, for lack of trying. Jason Kidd said that, that he thought the group that was out there did what they could. He thought the effort was good for the most part. I don't think it was for lack of effort, even strategically necessarily. That's the most DHOs I think I've seen in the Dallas offense, maybe this entire season. Like, the ball was constantly being fed into the big men, to try to get micro advantages, to try to create some separation, because the players who were out there playing are just not as good at creating separation as Luka and Kyrie are. And so constantly they're running DHOs. You saw, stack pick and rolls up top with 2 guys screening for another guy. But I thought very early in the game when the offense was surviving on Klay Thompson and Quentin Grimes mid-range jumpers, that was a sign of bad things to come. It didn't seem likely that Quentin that those 2 players or that Dallas in general was going to hit like 14 or 16 mid-range middies that they would need to really stay alive in that game. And so yeah, it's just this is the inevitable outcome when you are a team built to have at least one of your superstars on the court, like built that way. Like Spencer Dinwiddie was not signed to come in and replace both players being out. He was signed to, bridge the gap between, if one guy's out, then, when he has to sit, then Spencer Dinwiddie can do a little bit of that. And he did a fine job, for the expectations or for, what was, for the circumstances of the game. He wasn't bad. It wasn't enough, it wasn't enough for many of these guys. And so that's what really stood out to me.
Mavericks saw the Clippers, especially with James Harden in the fourth quarter, hunting Spencer Dinwiddie, Ivica Zubac, hunting big men for the Mavericks, especially in that fourth quarter. And he was able to take advantage quite a bit. What did Jason Kidd have to say? Not just about the performance, but obviously when it came to some of the execution that the Clippers had to be able to take over, especially in the second half there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, not much. There was 3 or 4 questions for Jason Kidd. I'm going to be honest. I don't think there should have been any more. There isn't too much to ask any of the guys who talked. It was Jason Kidd, it was Spencer Dinwiddie, it was Klay Thompson. Those are the three that spoke to media tonight. There's not too much to say about a game like this. Jason Kidd did say they couldn't get stops on Zubac in the third quarter. That was about the extent of his answer. So he was asked about it. Did not really say too much more. The one thing that stood out to me, and this is a very small thing. Again, it was a very uneventful night. And thus a very uneventful press conference. But yeah, pretty much everybody said it just felt weird playing without Luka and Kyrie. Spencer said that. Klay Thompson said that. Klay said it's not the end of the world, but it's a very different experience without those two. He said it was the first time playing without them, without both of them. So he just kind of described that as a learning experience. But, quite frankly, if you're Dallas, you hope it's not a learning experience. You hope you don't have to learn any more about this, because this team is not going to win that many games without one of those guys out there, because that is how they're built. And, any team missing two of their best players is not going to do it. But, maybe in a team like the Orlando Magic can survive a little bit more. And I think Dallas can survive if they have to, if, maybe it's 2 more games. I'm just throwing numbers out there, or maybe
better be
3
0,
more
please.
times. Yeah, maybe 3 more times the entire rest of the season that you're missing both of them. You can survive a little bit, but you're not going to thrive. And so yeah, the end of the story, the moral, the main thing to take away from this is that yes, the Mavericks' 2 best players are the 2 best players, but the best players are only the best players when they're best playing.
That's very true. The Mavs are now 1-9 in the Luka Kyrie era whenever both of those guys miss a game. Now, to be fair, a couple of those games they missed a lot more than just Luka and Kyrie. But the fact remains, it's gonna be really tough. The one win was that game at Utah, although that might have even been before the deadline. I don't even know if that one counts. So maybe I'm in over my head here trying to pick the game. But yeah, obviously it's gonna be a lot different. I think tonight, Tim, Klay was pretty good. I thought he was really aggressive. I understand why he's not able to do a lot of movement stuff whenever it's Luka and Kyrie out there, but I think one takeaway is that the Mavs do have some tricks up their sleeve for if it is just Klay, or Klay and Luka, or Klay and Kyrie. I'm trying to find something to feel good about. I'm trying really hard to have something to feel good about. I'm trying hard.
That pretty much was it for me. I thought Klay aggressively was looking for a shot, trying to generate offense. It felt like at times the Mavericks were maybe able to make a push. They got it down to 8 in the fourth quarter, but they never really turned the corner. It was a bad play here, bad turnover there, bad Derek Lively foul on a 3-point attempt by Norman Powell there. Like, it just felt like there was never any traction to be gained as they were trying to somehow not only make the comeback, but string together consistent positive plays in order to keep the momentum going. And it felt like they just couldn't get any traction in that way.
Yeah, Jason Kidd said the defense wasn't good enough. Klay Thompson said the defense wasn't good enough. If you're going to win a game like this, it's got to start on the defensive end, and as you try to piece together as much offense as you can. Now it's tough, if you're not scoring, you're not, very rarely do you have a set defense back on the other end, and it's, you are more susceptible to be scored on. But it's got to start on the defensive end. Obviously, Dallas is not the only team that has gone through games without their 2 top stars, and teams like the Orlando Magic have survived because they have that defensive identity that they can lean on. We'll see exactly how much surviving they can do now that Paolo and Franz are both out for a bit. But yeah, that's kind of the recipe to do it, is to really lean on the defense, to lean on that type of performance. But it's hard to do, man. It's hard to do. And, Zubac got going. Obviously, you guys asked me about that, mentioned that. But it's a completely different game if you have the personnel that can really, attack him and score points back. The same points he's scoring on one end, you can score them back because, even though he's a very good defender, he is susceptible at times to, somebody, a pick and roll maestro, kind of trying to pick him apart. He hasn't proved in that area, but all that stuff like that. This is how NBA coaches think. They think on one end, like you can go into a game and you can understand that a player might score 18 on you because you don't quite have the size to match up with him. But if you feel you can get 22 points on the other end because of his presence, like that's a net win for you. So coaches are constantly thinking about this, two-sided net positive, or where to get net positives. It's not always that you see one player going off in the primary mission is just to go stop that guy, and to do everything to stop that guy, because it is a two-sided game. But yeah, without those, without the team's 2 stars, Zubac is someone that is just scoring and is providing the very good rim protection, because Dallas has nobody who can manipulate him and get him into space and get him to move around the court. So absolutely, it's just tough, So that is the synergy of the two-sidedness of this, is that obviously Luka and Kyrie are not the team's they're not in the team's top 4 or 5 defenders. But their presence on the offensive end also does help you defensively in some ways as well. And so their absence is, just kind of caused everything to come crashing down to an extent.
I want to ask you quickly before we let you go here. A lot of conversation in our chat right now about one Chris Dunn. Obviously, he's got some history with the Dallas Mavericks because Luka was busting his ass at one time.
They said he doesn't return shopping carts. They said he'd choose tinfoil.
A lot of interesting things to say about Chris Dunn. Your perspective on, in the third quarter, obviously him and Jay-Z and Gortman get tangled up. Gortman gets a taunting technical. Chris Dunn takes his fist to Gortman's throat, gets tossed. But it felt like it took forever to get that resolved, whether it was from the referee standpoint or just time. It felt like standing still. What was your thoughts and perspective as all that was happening in that third quarter there?
Yeah, that just didn't need to take 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long that went on. It just didn't. I'm just tired. Please, no. Honestly, I ran out to the concourse. I was like, I saw that a review was coming up, and I was like, all right, this is going to go for 5 minutes, so I've got time.
Did you take a smoke break or something? What were you doing?
I was running to the restroom. You want me to just say that?
Oh, okay. Sorry. No,
I drink a lot of water at games. I like to stay hydrated.
You should always stay hydrated. It's really important.
We approve that here at DLLS Sports for sure.
So I heard the description of it from Coop over the radio, but I did not, it just, why do they always take so long? Is it really necessary?
We were trying to figure out the same thing. Yeah, because
I believe that closed fist punch is automatic ejection, and I believe hand around the throat is an automatic ejection. So I think they were trying to see if he did that, but it was like a closed throat or closed fist in the throat.
Right.
So it's like, all right, it's really neither, but it's also kind of both. So it's like by rule you have to eject him, but also
even Jason Kidd was like, "Oh, you gonna toss him out for
this?"
Yeah,
but like we can all agree, like Goatman provoked him, he tripped him, and so they're like, okay, well we have to give the goat something. So I mean, I think they got it right in the end.
Overall, what do you guys think of Goatman overall?
I thought he was all right. I thought he was
okay.
Yeah, I thought he was fine. Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like he didn't belong.
As my buddy Reggie would say, aggressively fine. He was aggressively
fine.
Yeah,
I would agree. I thought that he definitely showed some flashes of stuff. He was not really, he didn't do any better of a job than any other player on the court at really creating separation and getting into the paint. But that's fine, because he did show some stuff. He showed some flashes. He did have that one really cool layup, or at least it looked cool from my angle. I don't know if it looked cool on TV.
It looked cool on TV.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, TV is real life.
Most of the time.
Honestly, it is.
Appreciate you, Tim, as always. And you're reporting from the American Airlines Center. And
are we at 1 million subscriptions yet?
No, but
we're still 5 away. We got 4.
We're 4 away from 12,000.
4 more.
So tell your friends.
We are not stopping until 4 of y'all sub.
Stay sub.
I am not. I can't.
You don't have to. We
will.
There's no T in team.
Bye, Tim.
Bye, Tim.
That's our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato, live from the American Airlines Center. Yeah, we need 4 of y'all to hit the subscribe button while you're here at DLLS Sports to get us to 12,000 subscribers for our channel at DLLS Sports. Coming up next here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show, it's Christmas time. What's your favorite Christmas song? The vibes weren't good.
Or holiday song.
Or holiday song. Let us know what it is. And also, if you want to talk about more about the game, we'll do that as well.
No,
all that and more coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs post-game show.
But first, I want to shout out our newest diehards, and it's a pretty long list. All these people became diehards today. Shout out to Chance, to Alan, to Landon, to Riley. Shout out Tucker. Shout out Holly. Shout out Jimmy, Ryan, Randy, and shout out Chad Johnson. I don't know if that is Chad Ochocinco or if that is somebody else who is just fortuitously named Chad Johnson, but shout out to all of them who became diehards. And what that means is they have joined the mighty ranks of the diehards, which you can do by scanning the QR code below, clicking the link in the description below, or going to alldls.com/intro or alldls.com/diehard. There's a bunch of different links. For less than $7 a month, you can gain access to our entire website, all the premium written content, not contact. I was thrown off. Oh, we're 3 subs away. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Yeah. No,
Keep
no.
subbing.
This is internal ad. We can talk about whatever we want, man. But yeah, all the premium written content. You get to join the DLLS Discord server. There's a Just Positive Vibes channel in there, and you better believe I'm going to be popping into the Just Positive Vibes channel after a game like this because I need some positivity. But we also talk about movies. We talk about sports. We talk about everything in there. You also get a free shirt when you sign up and on a discount on any other merch that you want, including hoodies, shirts, obviously, mugs, cups, flags, all sorts of stuff. Soon headwear as well. Marc Stein, Jeff Wilson, et al. So yeah, if you wanna take your support for what we're doing, no, Jeff wants one.
Oh, I was about to say, now wait a minute, when did that happen?
No, Jeff Wilson really wants one.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
That's like his #1 goal right now is to get a hat.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to take your support for what we're doing one step further, that'd be great. Hey, if you don't want to be a diehard, if you just want to support what we're doing here on YouTube, you want to sub to the channel, that's awesome. You want to like our streams, you want to comment, you want to be, a positive member of the chat, I think that's awesome. You want to come in here and vent after a game, I like venting after games too. All right, we got it all here at DLLS Sports. So thank you for being on us on this journey with us, no matter what level of support you're showing. We really appreciate it.
As we continue here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show, the Mavericks fall 118-95 to the Los Angeles Clippers, snapping their 4-game home winning streak. The Mavericks, of course, coming into tonight, have won 12 of their last 14 games, but the Clippers, who apparently have the Mavericks number during the regular season, that is, have now won 9 of the last 12 regular season meetings against Dallas. Of course, no Luka, no Kyrie tonight, unfortunately for Dallas, as Luka missed a game with the left field contusion. The 7th game that he's missed this year. Kyrie Irving missing his 3rd game of the year with some right shoulder soreness. Shout out to Paul Tribble, who says Die Hard, not just a state of mind, but a great Christmas movie
Never
as well.
seen Die Hard.
And it's not a Christmas movie either. So
have you seen Die Hard?
I have.
I have not. Is it a good movie?
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's not a Christmas movie, though.
Hmm.
Shout out to... two
away.
away.
Come on. Let's go.
We need 2 more of you to subscribe to DLLS Sports here on YouTube. Carl Winslow, Reginald Vell Johnson, of course, played the cop. The Family Matters.
Okay. Yeah.
Carl Winslow.
Yeah.
So yeah. By the way, real quick, I do want to ask you this real quick, Bobby, because obviously the game was disappointing in and of itself. Mavericks didn't shoot great, didn't necessarily play well on the defensive end either. But one of the interesting conversations that's coming out of this game, obviously with Luka Doncic missing, this is his 7th game that he's missed this year. And one of the things, of course, that we know about the NBA is that you have to play a minimum of 65 games in order to...
Oh my
12,000.
God, we did it!
Woo! 12,000 subscribers. We need some balloons or something like. Are you? That looks so terrible on the screen. Get away from the screen. It really. Oh wow! Great job. Don't show any more of the screen. Thank you for subscribing to DLLS Sports here.
This is awesome
on YouTube. Keep subscribing. Don't stop subscribing if you're here. If you're new here,
if you're in line, stay in line.
Please
don't leave the polls.
So shout out to Francel, who said
It's so cool.
They just subbed as well. Shout out to
Thank you.
It's just sub from my Battle Rap media page.
We did it. It's not just like us, whatever. Like y'all are very explicitly a part of this. That's what makes a venture like this so cool, is that like it's all one big community. We're a big community. I know things get a little chippy in the chat sometimes, like Richard Case. I know we argue, and there's some people that are thinking that we're lying or spreading propaganda or whatever, but like we're all one big family here. We're all one big community. We're in this together.
No, do not unsubscribe to make this
Don't
stream.
unsub or we're not family anymore.
Do not do that.
You're
do
not part of the community.
No, to make this stream go longer. Do not do that.
The wins rule. The losses suck, and that's what makes it great.
That's what makes sports great.
And at the end of the day, we get up and do it all over again tomorrow. Like, I feel like the Mavs are never going to win another game. They'll come out on Saturday, win by 25, and it's like we're back-to-back championships.
That's right.
It's not just one title.
We're going all the
2.
way, continuously going all the way. I do want to ask you that, though, because, yeah, he's missed 7 games now. You got to play 65 in order to be qualified for the regular season awards. We're not even to Christmas yet, and it feels like, oh, boy, because there's going to be maintenance. There's going to be maintenance games for him, or he's going to miss, or he's going to need rest. Are you concerned at this point that Luka may not reach that potential threshold in order to qualify for the regular season awards?
I feel like I have to say yes, but personally,
I mean, that's honest. If it's yes, I mean that's honest.
I'm not an awards guy, so no, I'm not concerned at all. If Luka makes all NBA first team or MVP or whatever, I'm really not concerned. But if he misses more than 15 games, that probably affects him in the standings pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I would be concerned about that. But no, I mean, if he's, I'm gonna dox MVP voters, you know, for like disrespecting Luka for voting him second or whatever. That's never been my bit.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I know this a little bit. I mean, it's cool. I mean, he's made first team All NBA for what 5 straight years at this point. So it'd be cool if he could.
The streak is cool. I like streaks.
Yeah, the streak is really dope. Yeah, exactly. That would be amazing to do it. But I see Ardell's like, you know what? Don't necessarily care. It's all about obviously the team and how successful the team is, and that's the most important part. And that's the other connection to it is the more games you miss, the more and more it becomes difficult to win games. So yes, I definitely understand the sentiment for sure. But again,
Mark, thank you for saying that. But Mark says this community and these shows have been so much more fun than I was hoping for. It's been an absolute blast. It really has, dude.
Thank you.
It really has. And Mark was at the game tonight. Mark was at the game, had to see that stuff, and still came home and wanted to turn on the stream. That is an effing diehard, dude.
Shout out to
Mark.
Mark W. Really appreciate you, man. But that's why we do this for folks like yourself and everyone else that's in this chat. So continue to let us know how you're feeling it. Appreciate again you help us get
and also shout out to everyone that listened to us on Spotify and iTunes. I know there's a bunch of people that don't watch on YouTube, that just don't watch YouTube for whatever reason, that just listen to the pod. Y'all rule too. You probably are audio only people that are like, why the hell do they keep on mentioning these characters on YouTube that I like? I have these. I'm forming these parasocial relationships with commenters. If you ever want to check us out on YouTube, feel free to do that. But if you just want to listen on Spotify and iTunes, hey, does not hurt to leave a review, to rate, to do the thing. Some guy left us a 1-star review on iTunes once because YouTube served him a political ad before one of our shows started, and this guy thought that we were serving political ads, and so he rated us 1 star on iTunes, which I think is really funny, but we can't do anything about it. So we got to defeat the algorithms all over again now.
I need 5 5-star ratings to combat that one rating.
That's right.
That we got. So if you could do that, that would really appreciate and help us out here. But yeah, our podcast listeners are fantastic. You can download and subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcast for free when it comes to the DLLS Mavs podcast. Let's have some fun here. Obviously, not a great night at the American Airlines Center, but it is holiday time. Christmas is right around the corner.
This is your last show before then, too.
It is. I'll be heading out on vacation here after tonight. So we are off tomorrow as an entire show. But the fellas, they'll be back, of course, with our pregame show on Saturday as the Mavericks look to even up their series against the Los Angeles Clippers. But I won't be back until next Friday. So I will definitely miss you guys while I'm away. But at the same time, oh, that's sweet, Bobby. Thank you.
You need to unplug, though. Everyone needs to unplug every now and then.
Yeah, it's always good to do that. Also be a year older when you see me next as well.
How much are you going to change?
Quite a bit, apparently, because I'm turning 38 on Sunday.
Is that a big change number?
I don't think so. Like 30, 35. When I hit 40, Lord willing, yeah, that's those are the. But 38, it's just like you feel now. I'm definitely in like my late 30s.
Yeah,
like when you get to that 36 range, 37, which I am right now, and then you start getting 38. It's like, oh damn, I really am in my my late 30s.
The train goes one direction, pal.
I still look damn good though. Don't get it twisted though. But yeah, I'm definitely celebrating my birthday this weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm gonna be missing some Mavs basketball. Hopefully they'll have some wins by the time I get back. But
I almost said the F word, but I was just gonna say I hope so.
That's great. Before we continue with the rest of us, because I want to know some of your favorite Christmas songs as well. For all those joining us on our television platforms, we really appreciate you joining us here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. Visit alldlls.com. Become a diehard member today as well. And don't forget, again, to download and subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts for free, and give it a 5-star rating. And on the way out the door, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for DLLS Sports. So again, thank you to our television audience for joining us here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. As we continue here on the YouTube side of things, really appreciate all of you hanging out with us here. Unfortunately, the Mavericks fall. Thank you for the birthday wishes as well. Mavericks fall 118-95 to the Los Angeles Clippers. But we want to know, what's your favorite Christmas song? If you got a favorite or favorites, drop them in the chat, and we will read some of those as well. Tanner, does Tanner have his mic? No. Okay, Tanner, we gotta get you.
Tanner, you better set up a mic for when KG's gone, because I'm gonna need some help in here. It's gonna get awfully lonely.
Y'all want more Tanner? Drop fire emojis if you want more Tanner when it comes to talking on this podcast, because y'all want to hear Tanner as well. Tanner's got some basketball takes of his own. Okay, Tanner, look, Tanner, I'm gonna throw your business out there. Tanner with the Baylor, so he's a big Baylor basketball fan. Okay, and his Baylor Bears have been cooking over the last few years. Of course, winning a national championship. Not that long. What year was that, Tanner? 2021, they won the national championship. So Scott Drew and the boys out there winning national championships. So you got a favorite Christmas song, though?
I do, yeah. I think I have I have, can I do like a top 6?
That's a random number, 6?
Yeah, it's because there's 3 classics. These are 3 standards. These are like unquestioned greats, not just goodies, they're greaties. Christmas, Baby Please Come Home by Darlene Love.
Okay, all right.
Baby Please Come Home. It's just like Christmas.
Are you gonna sing a portion?
Christmas. You know that song?
I do know that song.
I don't know if I did a good job.
Yeah.
This Christmas by Donny Hathaway, absolute standard classic.
This Christmas, fireside. Never mind.
No, I thought that was great.
Thank you.
I thought that was great. You're caroling through the night.
Caroling.
Merry Christmas Baby by Otis Redding is so good too. I love Otis Redding. And then finally, obviously, Nat King Cole, the Christmas song. It's just a great song.
Let me find out you, my brother from another mother. I like what you're doing with your list here, Bobby.
They're great, dude.
I like what you're doing with your list, man.
All of those songs have just something. There's something magical about it, and that's what Christmas music is about, right? And holiday music in general. But
we need to educate the boys and girls when it comes to Nat King Cole.
That's right. That is right. I think my favorite Christmas song, though. It's tough, man. I think number 3 is the Silent Night medley by Hanson.
Oh, wow. We were really cool
I'm
until
sorry.
you brought Hanson into the conversation.
It's so good. It's really good. It's really good. Just give it a shot. Silent Night medley by Hanson. It's great. Number 2 is Oh Holy Night by Celine Dion. Unbelievable performance. She's got a great voice. I love Celine Dion. It's great. And then number 1, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Vince Vance and the Valiants. That is just, oh my God. You talk about
Mariah Carey?
No. You want a song that's about longing, but also like a little bit of hope, a little bit of love, but also like kind of desperate hope and desperate love and desperate desire and all this stuff. Like, it's just all that wrapped up underneath the Christmas tree. Like, I don't know. It's a great song. So those are some of my favorite Christmas songs. What about you?
I'm gonna read a few from our chat. First, we got Solid Duck, who says the Grinch song is undefeated. Okay, all right. What else we got from Ardell? Angels We Have Heard on High. I'm surprised we didn't get no Little Drummer Boy or anything of that nature so far.
The Bowie Bing Crosby Drummer Boy is pretty good.
That one's pretty good. Yeah. From Paul Triple, Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
That's a pretty good one.
I have never heard of that song.
You don't know that one? Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve.
You're making me not want to listen to it
You
anymore.
can say there's no such thing as Santa.
You're not helping its cause at
As
all
for
right now.
me and Grandpa, we believe. Down.
Oh, it's not doing it for me. Martin the Polar Bear. That's a real Christmas name. What about Last Christmas by Wham? All right.
You know that one?
You gonna sing a bit of that for me?
I can't really imitate George Michael, but last Christmas I gave you my heart.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're good there.
It's been a much covered song.
Yeah, it has been quite a bit.
Pretty good though.
I was looking very worried, Ardell. Very much so. I appreciate you. Let me see. Let It Snow, Boys to Men. That's a classic.
Ooh,
one for me.
okay.
Let It Snow.
Boys to Men's Silent Night is also really good.
Boys to Men's Silent Night is goated as well.
Yeah.
Donnie, you mentioned This Christmas with Donnie Hathaway. I'm trying to think if there was like any more like that immediately came to mind. You actually kind of named 3 of my favorites. The Nat King Cole.
Dude, the Nat King, it's just so perfect.
Yeah.
Because it just has this uber nostalgic, uber warm
Mm-hmm.
sound to it, you know?
For those of you who don't know who Nat King Cole is, I need you to go to YouTube or your, Google, look up Nat King Cole and Google the Christmas album that he has. It's amazing. Shout out to rest in peace to his daughter, Natalie Cole, unfortunately, as well. But yeah, those are some of my favorites. Obviously, people love Mariah Carey's,
Do they?
Okay, at this
Does
point,
anyone actually like that song?
At this point, that song is just like a rite of passage for the holiday. It is a beating. It really is. But at the same time, like, what's Christmas without Mariah Carey's Christmas song at this point? It's just
it feels like Christmas to me. I don't know. I haven't heard that song yet.
You haven't?
No.
Really?
I'm so
just this
unplugged
year,
from
this year.
Yeah,
okay, I was like, wait a minute, what's happening
No,
here?
so there was one year the Mavs went on. This was in 2016 or 2017, maybe. The Mavs went on a really long road trip right before Christmas. It was like 9 or 10 days, like a 4 or 5 game road trip with hotel stay.
This year.
And it's every game on that road trip. The team's dance team is doing a routine to that song. In the hotels, they're doing it. At the arena, they're doing it during timeouts, whatever. I heard that Mariah Carey song probably 100 times on that road trip.
Oh, gosh.
And I was just about over it. I was just about over a lot of stuff by the end of that trip.
I can see why, because that would probably make me want to just like, no, don't play that song ever again. I don't know why it's escaping me, but DMX's what's the one DMX Christmas song?
Oh, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Yeah, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yeah, that's
that's a pretty good rendition.
That's a
of
bop.
That
I'm not gonna lie to you, I like that because I mean, rest in peace to DMX. Damn. But yeah, those are some of my favorites though. Those are the ones that immediately come to mind. I see Ardell with the Run DMC. Tanner, you got a favorite Christmas song that I can shout out on air? No? All right. Tanner's like, I'm not
Don't say Mariah Carey, Tanner. Just don't do it.
He's like, I'm not going to say that. If there's any more, I want to know because we're going to get out of here. It just feels, are we still at 12,000 subscribers? We're still good?
Oh, I don't know.
Just 2 over? I need at least 3 more.
Oh,
I need 12,005.
I could start singing more. I mean, there's obviously other standards like have a holly jolly Christmas.
That's a throwback. That's a classic, yeah.
Rocking around
the Christmas tree
or something is the best.
How about the time we broke out literally at the same time singing Christmas time is here? Yeah.
And then obviously the da 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 da. That's technically a Christmas song, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's funny because what's my girl's name? Lucy was just mesmerized. Was it Schroeder? Schroeder was the one playing on the piano. That's his name?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you the first.
Y'all know the Peanuts characters, damn it. Y'all remind me of this.
I also think there's something to be said too for man, what is that? The people they're not Russian, but they got a Russian name. They do the heavy metal Christmas song.
Oh, Trans-Siberian Christmas?
Or Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun,
That's how much I
dun, dun,
associate it with Christmas.
dun, 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 dun.
That is classic too.
It's not really Christmassy, but it's like pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm telling you though, listen to the Hanson medley on the way home. It's adorable. It's great.
I told you I only got one Hanson song, and I did it a little bit earlier. That's all I got for
Just
you.
give the medley a shot.
Oh,
right?
Joy to the World. Joy to the World. Jingle Bells is also another classic.
We always play Sleigh Ride in
Do you?
high school band at the winter concert, the Wind Symphony. Every single year would play Sleigh Ride, and it's like a tradition at the high school I went to, and so I performed that song quite a bit. I'm very familiar with it, and ready for that to not be in my memory, but it's a good song.
Thank you, Solid Duck. Yes, it was Schroeder who was clowning on that piano as Snoopy was dancing on it, and everybody's like, Snoopy, get off the damn piano. Okay. I think it's time for us to go.
There's also a couple others. Thank God It's Christmas by Queen, I think is great. John Lennon's Christmas, War is Over, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called, but him and Yoko and the kids singing. That's a pretty good one.
What is it, Tanner just said? Tanner Lucas, what is that one? I like
Baby, that's controversial, isn't it?
Is it controversial?
Silver Bells. What is that?
Silver bells.
Oh, Silver Bells.
Yeah. It's Christmas time
Yep.
in the city.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know a lot more Christmas songs than I thought.
Now they're just like coming to you as we're going through them.
Yeah.
All right. I think it is time for us to go, though, because, it's Christmas time. It's holiday time. Again, we really appreciate all of you joining us here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show. Although the Mavericks fall tonight, y'all made it fun because y'all were here, and we passed another milestone again here on the DLLS Mavs post-game show, passing 12,000 subscribers. So make sure you tell your friends, tell your family to come and join our DLLS Sports family, whether it's becoming a diehard member or simply commenting, and subscribing here to DLLS Sports, and doing the same for our podcast as well. The guys will be back on Saturday. Pregame show.
I'm going to be hosting the show for like the next week.
You got it, man. You and Cato and Stein. You can throw Tanner in the host seat. Let him go cook a little bit. Okay. Tanner, you want to host
I'll
a little
produce.
bit? You want?
Hey, if Luka and Kyrie are out on Saturday, buddy, we got to try something different. All right? I can't do this again.
No. Tanner's like, actually, do not have me host.
Talk about what's my favorite New Year's songs.
They play at 7:30 again on Saturday. So that means the pregame show will begin at 6:45 p.m. right here on DLLS Sports for DLLS Mavs. Bobby, Tim, Tanner, Marc Stein, they got you covered here. So, again, thank you so much for joining us here.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
On the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Y'all have a happy and safe holiday, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you choose to celebrate. Have a happy one. For Bobby, I'm Kevin. Appreciate Tanner always making us look and sound good as well. For our national NBA insider, that's Marc Stein. Tim Cato, our Mavericks beat writer. We appreciate you joining us here on DLLS Mavs on DLLS Sports. We'll talk to you Saturday. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.